Hey guys, it's Dave. Another video for you here, this time on the jobs report. That just came out on Friday, and it was a beat, a surprise that we added more jobs than they were expected. We added 253,000 new jobs. They were only expected to add 180,000. The stock market went crazy, green everywhere, like it's the best thing that's ever happened. And it left me scratching my head because that's not typically good for inflation. I thought we were in a battle to get inflation down. And one of the main things they needed to do, besides raise interest rates, was to cool the spending down through what they anticipated were going to be some job losses. So we've seen the tech industry start laying off. Facebook, Google, Amazon, they've laid off thousands and thousands of people, and their stock is immediately rewarded by raising, going up, because it's viewed as they're going to be more efficient. They're going to make more money because they are getting rid of this excess payroll. But it's kind of this weird situation where if really the main enemy of the economy right now is inflation, we need less employment. This sounds bad, because we're competing with each other for food, airline tickets, hotels, used cars, all of these things. And what they've done in the past is they want to kind of ease up on the employment a little bit, make people think twice about frivolous purchases. If you're threatened with potential layoffs, you might, maybe make different choices with what you do with your money. And so it's kind of weird to see the stock market celebrate better employment numbers when we still haven't got inflation under control. Let me show you the chart that kind of caught my eye on this. This is the streaks of better than expected non-farm payroll jobs report, and you can see that we've got quite the record going right now. 13 straight beats. This chart goes back to 2000, and so it's kind of interesting that you can see that they're either bringing the estimates in a little too low, or maybe the numbers that they're reporting aren't quite accurate. And the reason that I say that is because when they reported this latest job report number, we had an estimate, like I said. Here, let's go back to the last three of these. We had an estimate and an actual. And in February, March, and April. So this last one, we had an actual of 253,000 versus an estimate of 180. And in March, we had an estimate of 238, and they came in at 236. And then in February, we had an estimate of 326, and they came in at 225. I'm sorry, that was the actual, and then the estimate was 225. So this is a beat here in February, and then basically a break even in March, and then crushed it in April. But kind of a little underreported thing that happened in this report is they revised the actuals from March and February, and they revised them down to where the actual in March was really 165, and the actual in February was really 248. So this would have been a miss, and this would have been, roughly fairly in line. But it's caused people to really question the data that they're using to report this stuff. How can you be that off, almost 50% off, when you go back and revise the number? Imagine telling your mom you aced the test and then you get a D in the class when they actually take a closer look at what you did on your test. So I came across a chart on Twitter that I really liked. This is from at Neely Taminga. You can follow her on Twitter. And this kind of shows a little more accurately because it's done on a weekly basis, this is the amount of employment taxes withheld. So you can get a better picture of how much hourly wages are out there on a given week, because as there's more hours turned in, there's more withholdings done. This chart can be a little misleading because it looks like we've had like a negative flow of this, but this is actually a zero. So anything above this is a positive growth and anything below is negative. So even though this is coming sharply down, it's still a positive number from the previous number. It's just not growing nearly at what it was. So we are seeing a slowdown in the growth of the amount of payroll withholdings, to where at this pace, probably the next time this chart is updated, we'll see a negative number, a shrink in the amount of withholdings in the economy. So we don't have to worry about the Bureau of Labor of Statistics revising numbers after the fact. This is something that we can kind of see in more real-time data, like, are we having more workers? Or are we having less workers? Are we working more hours? Are we working 3 jobs? How much tax withholdings does the government pull out every week? And that can be a more accurate showing of what the overall job market looks like. Now, this is where, things get a little bit iffy because, like I said, the government is trying to slow inflation, and we could be in a little bit of a pickle if we start to get job losses snowballing down. If these rate effects have caused spending to go down and caused employers to start laying off, that's kind of fine if it's only a minimal amount. Like, it sucks for you if it's you that gets laid off, but in the overall economy, where 7 and 9% inflation rates are just destroying a lot of people on the lower end of the pay scale, we need that to come down, and that's the whole reason that they're raising interest rates. If they've gone too far and we start to see a ton of job losses, they'll be forced to cut interest rates before they've brought inflation down, and that could be a huge mess. Their overall, mandate is a dual mandate. It is maximum employment and minimal inflation at the 2% target. So as they're raising interest rates, they're expecting there to be a little bit of an impact on employment. If they've gone too far, the only thing that they can do in order to get the jobs back is to cut rates. If inflation is still there at the 4 and 5%, then they've got a real serious problem. So I like to look at things like this and how they impact the overall economy, because me as a realtor, I need to see how we're doing. What's the forecast? Are we going to see people start shopping in spring like we have? What is the overall outlook for interest rates? Will we see more listings come up? Will people be forced to sell because they're going to start losing their jobs en masse? And so that's what I'll be doing on this channel some more. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. And thanks so much for watching.